Liquid Lunch Live is brought to you by Punzoni Vodka.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. Every day from noon to 1 Eastern, we break it down, we mix it up, we shake it up, but we serve it to you no matter what, straight up. And we mix it up every day with a Republican and a Democrat. And here, back again by popular demand, Rob Taub, Chapin Fay. And guys, a little later on in the show, we have Kate Herman. She's a model and a comedian. We kind of joke around about, you know, how some of this stuff is, it's like, it can almost all be a Saturday Night Live episode. Like what's happening in the news is like almost comedy. And Rob, you're a failed humorist.
I was an Emmy-winning comedy writer at one time. Back in the day. Now I have a radio face, John. It's tougher for me on TV.
So we're struggling with comics being funny on this show, so you're fitting the bill perfectly.
Well, thank you so much.
I can tell you that. But he's a fantastic writer. But jokingly, we're talking about Rod Blagojevich for some reason, because the rumor is that Trump may commute his sentence because he became friends with him when he was on The Apprentice. This is a joke, right?
You know, I really don't understand what Donald Trump thinks sometimes of all the obscure people to pluck out. But I guess this is who he knows.
Should Trump even be spending a moment of his time on this?
I don't think so. I mean, there's always controversial pardons. I mean, it's like the 90s all over again, right, with the pardon issue. But I don't think Rod Blagojevich deserves any sort of pardon.
Okay, I don't like to overuse the bell, but in the mix it up, when we have a Republican and a Democrat and they agree, we ring the bell. So, President Trump, maybe forget Blago for a little while. The nation is divided. We're at war with guns. We have a lot more important things.
There's bipartisanship here on Liquid Lunch.
That's right. That's right. We're reaching bipartisan solutions right here.
Rod Blagojevich, the
I'm
uniter.
about to start mixing up a bipartisan solution also. All right, moving on to what I think is the biggest joke in politics. The mayor of New York, Bill DeBlasio, is polling literally at zero. He went head-to-head with Sean Hannity last night. Like, this guy will do anything for any publicity. 76% of New Yorkers said that he's a total waste of time. So he doesn't even, Trump is more popular in New York City than Bill DeBlasio. That's scary in a very blue place. And I said, when you run under an alias, Bill, in case you don't know, Bill DeBlasio's real name is Warren Wilhelm Jr. What say you? You're a New Yorker.
I say it would be easier to find the Loch Ness Monster or the Abominable Snowman before you could find somebody who is admitted to voting for this guy. He ran on the platform of A Tale of Two Cities after Michael Bloomberg really brought New York back to a pure renaissance. And The Tale of Two Cities, instead of protecting the poor, he's made life more miserable for them. The $2 to $3 billion that he's earmarked for poor people, I don't know where it's gone, but it certainly hasn't gone to help the poor or the homeless, because they're all over the city now.
Chapin, Bill DeBlasio gave his wife unchecked blank check for $450 million to come up with a mental health program. Years later, they can't even say where any of that money went. How does this guy keep getting away with this stuff?
Good question. I don't know. I mean, zero is exactly his accomplishments in New York City too. It's not like he even has a good record to run on. New York City is getting more dangerous. People living in NYCHA houses are living in squalor, and the guy's in Iowa and couldn't care less. But he has never wanted to be a mayor of New York City. It was always just a stepping stone. You know, if there is a tale of two cities, he dislikes both of them. He'd rather spend his time anywhere else. And, you know, quite frankly, as long as there are businesses that want to do business with the city, you know, he'll have the resources to run and struggle along. But he's a joke, and it's almost not even worth discussing. He's a joke in New York City, let alone the rest of the country.
Well, I'll tell you something that's interesting about being mayor of New York. You have the power, really, of a third world despot, and it's so you can run the whole city. That's great when you're Mike Bloomberg or even Rudy Giuliani. When you're Warren Wilhelm Jr., it's a disaster for everybody involved. My family's been in the real estate business for over 60 years. I'm a licensed broker. I see what's going on with him wanting to tax the wealthy people, raise the mansion tax, raise the transfer tax. You have people fleeing and taking residency in Florida. And what good is that going to do? We need rich people to spend money here so that real estate brokers make money, that they buy food in stores and they go to restaurants and shop. And it is, I used to make fun of the trickle-down theory, but it does work to some degree.
He doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He has never cared. He got one program passed that took a little bit of effort when he first was elected and has done absolutely zero except spend his time in the gym, stroll to the office at noon. I wish I had that job.
Pre-K for all, okay, he did that, but he also, the people paying for it are the wealthy, the people that he demonizes. So the irony is, how do you demonize a whole group of people, a small elite group of people that pay for most of the taxes in New York City and New York State, and then tell them that they're scum? So what do? They're all right, well, we'll declare residence in Florida where there's no state tax.
There's a story we covered yesterday from the New York Daily News, which isn't, an enemy of the mayor usually. It's more liberal of the two papers here in New York. And it was saying how DeBlasio and his wife got 2 mortgages on homes they own in Park Slope from this Wall Street mortgage bank. And the owner of the bank who gave him and his wife these 2 mortgages, his 2 brothers, the Podolsky brothers, were the guys who sold 10 buildings to the city for $173 million. They were all donors. The bank gives him a personal mortgage. He sells the building. They sell their buildings to DeBlasio's city for $173 million. Scott Stringer goes out, the controller, and looks into it and gets an appraisal at $50 million. Another $100 million just in the wind.
I mean, we're paying for all of Bill de Blasio's term, and I don't think we're going to even know what the bill is until our children or grandchildren are paying it. But this is the story. I mean, every day there's a new story about how he's on one hand he's criticizing everybody, tax the hell out of the rich. On the other hand, he's giving out favors left and right for his own political benefit, and it's a disgrace.
This is a guy who went on his honeymoon to Cuba, and that says it right there for me. Well, they have great health care. That's wonderful. They don't have internet.
Under his bed.
The real scary part is he's right in line where all the other presidential candidates are. He's not the crazy socialist. He's right in the middle of all the rest of them. That's the scary thing.
No doubt about it. This is why we mix it up. We bring you the guests that know where the rubber meets the road, so you purple people can hear all different things and then talk about it and expand on it with your friends in your communities and try to get some sensible thought out there. I want to thank Rob Taub, Shape and Faye for coming in, breaking it down for us. You stay right there. Jack Carr is going to join us by Skype right after this, and he's a former Navy SEAL and author of the book True Believer. Stay right there.